You know that feeling when you swirl a glass of wine and suddenly you're smelling cherries, vanilla, maybe even green pepper or rose petals? It's pretty amazing, right? Well, how does that happen? Today, we're going to dive deep into the science behind that incredible, complex aroma.
Yeah, it's like a whole world of scents packed into a single glass. You've got your fruits, your flowers, spices, sometimes even these really interesting earthy notes. It's honestly a huge part of what makes wine so captivating.
So that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Where do all these smells actually come from? Is it some kind of magic in the bottle? Well, it's actually chemistry, and that's exactly what we're going to break down right now.
Okay, to really give you a sense of just how complex this is, get this. Scientists have found over 1,300 different volatile compounds in wine. 1,300! Every single one contributes a tiny little piece to this huge aromatic puzzle. The easiest way to wrap our heads around all this is to think of it like a journey in three parts. First, you've got the aromas from the grape. Second, the aromas from fermentation. And third, the aromas that come from aging. Let's start the trip. All right, let's kick things off with part one, aromas from the grape. This is really the source code, the fundamental building blocks of what the wine is going to be. So these are what we call primary aromas, or sometimes varietal aromas. Think of them as the grape's unique fingerprint. They come directly from the grape itself, and they really are the foundation of the wine's entire character. And what's wild is just how different these fingerprints can be. You know how a Sauvignon Blanc can hit you with those bright tropical fruit notes? But then a Cabernet Sauvignon is all about deep, dark berries and that classic green pepper smell. All of that is coming right from the grape. So, what are these chemical compounds that create these smells? Well, a really big group is called terpenes. You'll find them mostly in the grape's skin. They're basically the plant's natural defense system, and for us, they're the powerhouses behind so many of those gorgeous floral and citrusy scents. Let's get specific. The most common one is called linalool. If you've ever been sniffing a wine and thought, wow, I'm getting rose, maybe a bit of lavender with a hint of citrus, yep, you can thank linalool for that. And here's the thing, these compounds don't work alone. They stack on top of each other. Take geraniol. It also gives off rose and citrus scents. That's a big reason why super aromatic grapes, like Muscat, can just explode with those floral notes. It's a double dose. Okay, and here's one you'll never forget. Limonene. I mean, the name kind of gives it away, right? This is the terpene responsible for all those bright, zesty citrus aromas. It's literally chemistry you can smell. All right, on to the next stop in our journey. Part 2, aromas from fermentation. Now this is where things get really interesting, a total transformation. Okay, so this is the key thing to understand. Secondary aromas are brand spanking new. They were not in the original grape juice. They're created when yeast and bacteria get to work, doing their magic of turning sugar into alcohol. And this is where the winemaker really starts to leave their mark on the final wine. So during this whole fermentation party, whole new families of aroma compounds show up. The biggest superstars here are definitely the esters. These guys are responsible for a ton of fruity and floral notes. We're talking banana, pineapple, crisp red apple. You might also get some other compounds that bring spicy or even buttery smells to the party. And this right here shows you the tightrope that winemakers have to walk. If they control everything just right, like the temperature, they can encourage all those beautiful fruity esters to come out and play. But if things go wrong, you can end up with stuff like ethyl acetate, which smells like nail polish remover, or too much diacetyl, which comes across as rancid butter. It is a very, very fine line between delicious and a total disaster.
And that brings us to our final act. Part 3, aromas from aging. This is the stage where a good wine can become a truly great one as it evolves over time.
So picture this. In the quiet of a cellar, whether it's in an oak barrel or just sitting in the bottle, there's this slow, patient dance of chemistry happening. It's a series of reactions that create some of the most complex and beautiful aromas you can find in wine. And this whole collection of new smells that develops with age has a special name, the bouquet. These are the tertiary aromas, and they're really the sign that a wine has reached its peak maturity and complexity.
So what's actually going on in there, chemically speaking? Well, a few things. First, all those bright, fruity primary aromas, they start to chill out and soften. Then, new, more complex esters form, creating deeper smells. If you've got oak barrels involved, the wine is soaking up amazing compounds like vanillin. And the whole thing is driven by this very slow, controlled exposure to oxygen, which just transforms everything. Okay, that was a lot of science. So let's bring it all together and talk about how this helps you with your next sip of wine.
So from now on, when you smell a wine, you can almost be a detective. You can ask yourself, am I smelling a fresh, primary note that came from the grape? Is that buttery smell a secondary character from fermentation? Or is that spicy vanilla a tertiary note from an oak barrel? You now know the story behind those scents.
So the next time you pour yourself a glass, really take a second. Give it a swirl, take a good sniff. You're not just smelling wine anymore. You're reading a chemical story of where it's been. The only question left is, what will you discover?